And with us now from Clue, Texas, is Congressman Ron Paul. Representative Paul is on the House Financial Services Committee, a staunch critic of the Fed, certainly Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke, and a big hawk about our debt and deficit. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you, Maria. Good to be with you.
What are you expecting? Do you think Governor Romney comes out swinging right off the bat? What do you think he is going to be sort of pressured and asked about in terms of specifics on his economic plan?
Well, overall, I don't expect a whole lot of specifics from either one. You know, in the last several weeks, the whole discussion has been on debate techniques and who's going to make the biggest gaffe. But hopefully they'll get to the bottom of it. But I don't know whether they'll even get around to what I consider the biggest financial issue, is the debt crisis that we have. And what are they going to do about it? And how do they relate to the Federal Reserve? Are they just going to say, well, we can't have much to do with it. Let the Fed monetize the debt and go on and on? I have not heard from either one of them actually cutting something. So I'm afraid the important issue, the financial crisis that we're in the middle of, is going to get worse. My prediction is they won't really deal with it tonight, and if they do talk about it, I think the answers will be muffled, and they'll sort of talk about the same way about what to do about the deficit, because it is a tough problem to deal with, and I don't think they want to face up to it.
Congressman, you know firsthand what it's like to be on stage with Governor Romney. There always seemed to be a bit of a rapport between you and he when it came to debates. What does the president need to know about standing at the podium next to his?
Well, I'm not sure I can give the advice to that, but I think I was assuming that Governor Romney did a pretty good job, and he, you know, occasionally got a little ruffled and all, but I think what the president ought to do is try to answer the questions directly, and if he doesn't, that's when Romney needs to get after him. Answer the question, what are you going to do about the debt crisis? But the problem is, as I see it, the difference philosophically between the two isn't that tremendous. You know, when it comes to foreign policy, don't expect tremendous differences on the Middle East, you know, about what we should be doing there, or the Federal Reserve, or spending. So I think it'll be interesting to see if we get any factual, good information philosophically on what these two gentlemen really believe in.
Yeah, big difference on taxes, though. Let's bring John Harwood in. John.
Congressman Paul, as Carl mentioned, you did have a rapport with Mitt Romney. You were on stage with him multiple times. But when you and I talked a few weeks ago, you said you weren't going to fully endorse Mitt Romney at the Republican convention because you didn't fully support him. What I'm wondering is there anything he could say tonight that would cause you to do that? Or are you ultimately looking at these two guys as not that much different on the core issues that are important to you?
Well, I'm always looking, I'm always open, but I'm not that optimistic, because his foreign policy was the policy that disturbed me the most. He was much more aggressive on where the troops should be and what we should do overseas. That didn't interfere with us having a very decent rapport with each other and talking to each other with friends. But no, the foreign policy, if he changed it, I would be, wow, that's wonderful. Maybe I should reconsider. If he came out and said, not only do we need to audit the Fed, we need to stop the Fed from monetizing our debt and being the central economic planner for the whole country. If he started saying those things, I'll say, well, maybe he had an epiphany, and maybe I better start talking to him. But that's not going to happen.
Do you think a lot of Ron Paul Republicans are not supporting Mitt Romney in this last month of the campaign?
Well, I don't think you can measure them. There's, you know, several millions. There's 2-3 million at least at minimal. And there were many independents that we couldn't even measure. So I would say that they're just holding back, and I think they'll go different ways. I think a few will go and vote for Romney, a few's going to vote for Obama, and a few will stay at home, and a few will vote Libertarian, and few will write my name in, because it isn't a monolith. They're very, very frustrated, though, because they didn't feel like they had a fair shake at the convention, and some of our delegates weren't seated, so that left a bit of a sore spot with many of our delegates.
So, Congressman, how important, how critical is tonight's showing in terms of getting that vote and getting that independence?
Well, I think it's pretty much so, but I think most of the people who are in the freedom movement would be as surprised as I've indicated I would be if we saw a dramatic change in the policy, because we have been seeing this for a long time. and we've come to a conclusion, although we could find some differences maybe on tax bill, we've come to the conclusion that the two parties aren't all that different. The debate won't be very much involved in true difference of philosophy, and that if you wanted a real debate, they probably should have had the Green Party and the Libertarian Party. Now that would have been real excitement. Make these two guys answer to other people who are thinking about a different way of looking at this thing. Instead, we have two individuals who are really status quo and aren't challenging the status quo and have not a whole lot of anything new to offer.
Well, that sets up tonight just great, Congressman. Thanks so much, Congressman Ron Paul, joining us from Texas.
Thanks so much.